Hey, yo, what's up with it? This your boy Young Bleed, letting y'all know we finna come through and make it do what it do on the I Only Touch the Greatest podcast. You heard me?
And you was on shout out to N9ne, man, because I give that man his roses, because if it wasn't for him, because my brother DJ'd for Tech.
Okay, D.
One time at a show in Henrietta. Shout out to DJ Louis. He was a performer that night. You know what I'm saying? It was like with Tech, man. Like I always give this man his roses, man. Like coming from Kansas City and seeing what he done did, like bringing people like you and J Rock and people, bringing people together. Like we was talking with Glasses Malone, and he was telling us like that KOD tour what meant so much, because he created a bond with Joe Budden, which he's on his podcast show, you know what I'm saying, and he was like, man, I ain't never liked him, but once that that tour got done, you know what I'm saying, and I got to talk to him, we cool, we kicked it, you know what I'm saying, like right. So I seen that you was on another club, on the collabos with him too. So how was that? How did that come about too? Coming back on there.
Yeah. And y'all asked me that, I meant to answer that for you and kind of forgot that earlier. But we was talking about How You Do That remake with me, him, and Rich Chomp.
Yeah.
When I first came there, I didn't really want to touch the song again, but it was a company idea for us three, and being in the pocket we was as legends, it'll be a beautiful way to bring it back. So I went forward. We all recorded at separate places and sent in our vocal. Shouts out to Seven. He remixed the track, and it started to take off. But I feel like we didn't capitalize on it. That was the same year that Ricky Smiley came out with the thing in Atlanta, and he played that. You know what I mean?
And he played, I seen that. I seen that show.
Yeah. So I felt like this is the time to do it, and it was starting to take off. I want to say even in California. And we it's where it is for those that know about it. But a year later, a guy like Problem, shouts out to Problem out there in California, remade it. It blew phenomenal for him. You know what I mean? So, nothing against that. That's a beautiful thing. But that's my only thing to that record. Me and Ted did one other record in life, me, him, and Stevie Stone. Shouts out to Stevie Stone.
Shout out to Stevie, yeah.
On the I forget the compilation that followed my record that they did was another strange compilation. But we did
it was the collabos, Strangeland, I think.
Okay, Strangeland, that's it exactly. But we did Come Dirty, you know what I mean? On that, him and Stevie. So them the only two records we did, and we never actually recorded in the studio at the same time with each other. Yeah.
So was y'all didn't do it with How You Do That again with Brother Lynch?
Nah, I guess Lynch did his, I want to say maybe in California. Tech might have recorded in Kansas, and I still was in Baton Rouge at the time. We were still working on the deal and all that. So I hadn't uprooted for a second or third time. It was plans to move to Kansas City after that tour and welcome me all the way into the label. I really did like a co-op deal with him. I started my label, Trapdoor Entertainment, right when I got that deal to have a label to stand on with, rid of like my third label. And that was the makings of it for Strange Lane, as a matter of fact. It was strange records, strange music, and you had Strange Lane and Strange Prompt. And Strange Lane and Strange Prompt, they sabotaged or whatever the situation was. So it left me in that middle section of what we gonna do past this. So, it's talks of me becoming a all the way strange artist, and it never took place. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, basically that.
Hey, LeBron, Jordan, or Kobe?
Jordan all day, man. First and foremost. I dug up rest in peace to Kobe, and I dig LeBron. But to me, I used to always say this, being 70s baby into the 80s, I go far back as my favorite first basketball player was Dr. J, right into Michael Jordan, the Dominique Wilkins time. But by the time I saw Kobe and LeBron, they remind me of Jordan and Dominique, and they lit rock. So I'd say the only new thing I saw come to the game was Allen Iverson and the crossover, was something different. the Superman dunk. You know what I mean? Other than that, I respect all the ball players. And salute to them. But I'm off the innovation. I watch N9ne. I come from the Harlem Globetrotters and that type of thing. So I want to see you do something with that rock that I ain't saw nobody else do before. And that's the latest new thing that came to the NBA, at least for me, was the crossover N9ne.
Yeah, that's for sure. And on Amazon, they have actually a documentary about Allen Iverson on the Amazon movies. And
okay,
you can go watch it. I didn't realize how awesome I remember from my childhood. I had the Iverson jersey. I loved the N9ne. Hardcore, all that stuff, playing basketball back then, and all the street ball. And then you watched him, and I didn't realize how they kind of just blackballed him. The whole league blackballed him.
Yeah, he had some troubles coming in, and I forget his story. Well, I forget what college he was, and he had that thing before he got into the NBA. Then, of course, he was one of the bad boys of the NBA.
Yeah.
I remember with him and Jadakiss was going to do a record together, and they didn't allow that record to come out. So I'm an A9 fan, man, from the gate, man. He bad boy, tattooed up like that. So
I noticed that, too.
Him to succeed.
I noticed it. Yeah, I noticed it, too, that he never left. He never changed his person. He was the same street guy that he was in the NBA, and the NBA couldn't handle it. They were shook.
Right. That's how I always felt, and that's how I always looked to me, man. But yeah, shouts out to AI, man. One of the greatest. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pick to do a song with C-Murder or Soulja Slim?
Oh, man, with 3 verses, I have to say both of them. They, my brothers in real life, street brothers, and companies, inquiring. But yeah, man, me and Slim was finna do a record.
Oh shit!
I'll tell you a short story, and what you knowing, and coming from where you coming from, I gotta tell you this. Yeah. Magic was my guy. Some of us would see each other in and out, but overnight streets and doing our own independent shows. But me and Miss Magic made the I Smoke, I Drank joint before it got the Rolling Stones and the Young Blood. Yeah, it was his original record.
Right.
And he put on that record.
Was that his original record?
Yeah, that was his record with his hook and verse in the middle. That's how that record was structured. We actually started doing an album together called Country Boys and City Slickers. They call us the Country Boys in Baton Rouge, and New Orleans was a little bit more city and city slick than us. So we was trying to combine those forces. And in that evolution time, he was working on something, I think, dealing with Koch Records at the time, but in and out the deal. And he was trying to turn in a record, and that I Smoke, I Drank became the record. And I think he ended up leaving from Koch and went more toward Roy Jones and by the head. Roy's a brother of mine. Shouts out to Roy Jones. And
shout out to him.
At the time, so me and Magic was testing the water, and we did that record. It was just 2 verses. We were performing in our shows. Sometimes we did 3-5 shows a night between Mississippi, Louisiana, especially before the hurricane came and they had all the casinos and everything was on the beach. Yeah, we'll go from one spot to the next and perform that record. And while he was in the making of it, but his whole thought, we come out the studio working on our album one night, and he say, "Hey man, you know what I'm gonna put on the 3rd verse? I'm gonna put Slim on it." I said, "That's who you put on it." As a matter of fact, when you shoot to New Orleans tomorrow and get Slim, and y'all do that record, call me immediately. You know what I'm saying? And let me hear it. The night me and Snoop made a record, they went out to a party, I did something like that, and I had a headache the whole day, but I forced myself to go record with Snoop and do a record. And we parted ways. Mac was still free. Slim was still alive. C was in there. Everybody was in that building, but everybody left to go to that party. And I waited with Moby Dick in the studio and was on my way home to sleep off my headache. But Moby said, "Man, before you leave, hold up. Slim on his way up here to the studio to work. And he, Slim crazy about you. He want to meet you." And I said, "Yeah, I want to meet Slim." So I waited. Me and Slim met in the park, and I was on my way to my car. He was on his way coming out of his car. So we talked for those few minutes, grabbed, hugged each other, showed each other love, and talked about doing the record. Fast forward the tape. When Magic told me what he told me, I woke up to a phone call somewhere between 2 and 4 that afternoon. And I was like, "Y'all got the record, y'all got the record." I was excited to hear it. And he said, "Man, Slim dead." The very next day, Slim was murdered. I never got to see him, talk to him, and do no record with him. So, you know, that'll be something, you know, when you say, if I could dig up the dead, I say he won too when we brought him up. And C is my brother. I talk to C every now and again through a connect we have between us and all that type of thing. Those guys always been up front and straight up with me. So, you know, I couldn't decide between the two because I got yet to have a record with C Murder. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, for those guys.
Hey, we'd love to have an interview with C Murder. You know, it's like throwing out a dream.
Man, that would be hey, coming for me, man. Oh my God. I know so much about C because of my partner. Man, call him Daddy for a reason because that's how much he did for New Orleans. Like all y'all did for New Orleans is like what my boy said. He's like, man, that's my daddy because he raised me from his music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And on turf too, you know, a lot of my family members, they had, you know, sports program with ball players. Like I said, a lot of my cousins was ball players that either went to JUCO or went to Mexico or Europe somewhere to play ball and then make it into the NBA. And before he knew they was kin folks, he used to take those guys tennis shoes and different stuff like that. So C was a good guy out here. I know him like that. But hey, look, big bro, let me give me that commercial break one more time. I'll be right back.